of glass before them. Who is this that even the winds obey his voice? But that was last night. Today they make their way to the Gerasenes. They come up to the limestone cliffs. First one boat launches and then a second. The disciples unload and Jesus walks with them as they begin to make their way up to the top of the cliffs, through the catacombs. And suddenly a shrieking sound comes and somebody comes and disturbs their peace. The disciples instantly turn around and flee. I know. You look at me and say, maybe this would be more appropriate for Halloween than for church. Or maybe that's because we don't see the demon world as it really is. We don't recognize the great struggle, the controversy that's going on between good and evil, the reality of the world that we face and the battle that we fight every day. I come in this appearance to help you get the point, but I've not always been like this. I was a regular man like you, with all of the things that you have, a job, a family, a son, a wife, a future. And that was all before the voices. It started really as a whisper. You know, a thought almost in your mind, and it hit you and it caused you to want to pull away and be led in a certain direction. But with that, there was the reality that you wouldn't choose and you brushed it out of your mind. Have you been there? That temptation, that urge came up within you and you were tempted to move toward it. Well, it went from that whisper to a shadow in my mind, from the shadow until a voice, and moved from whispering to commanding, and moved from one voice to many voices, to screaming, to yelling, and it accelerated to the place that it was like a commander and I was the soldier and I followed. The people on the outside tried to understand. You see, it started with me because of the slow progression. It started with me as seeming like a mood swing. Like he's not in his normal way of handling life, but it moved from one step to the other and got worse and more intense. At first, they felt pity on me. Do you know what that's like? Looked upon him and said, poor man. He's going through a real hard time. But time passed. And then they moved from pity to saying, he's cursed. The demons are in him. God has cursed him and turned away from him. And I started asking, have you thought about how someone becomes demon-possessed? You see, I didn't ask the demons to come in. I didn't have a seance or your day a Ouija board. I didn't do any of those things. I wasn't even that religious of a man. And maybe there's the point. See, I was empty inside. When there's emptiness, there's a space to be filled. Now, when you hear demons, I don't know what goes through your mind, but think of angels of darkness, evil Satan's henchmen. That's the demons that came to occupy inside of me, one after another. And I say, again, I wasn't that religious a man. Okay, so I wasn't perfect. None of us are, right? I wasn't perfect, so some of the things may be that my womanizing and my carousing, my party life, my drinking, maybe some of those things were the open door that allowed Satan to come into my life, and I didn't even know it. Everyone has one of two masters in their lives. Have you asked yourself who rules for you? Because I say, you want to test it, ask this. Who has the fondest thoughts and memories? Of who is it that you long for? Where do you want to spend your time? Who is the one who comes to mind when you think of joy and love? If it's not God, could it be that you haven't given him the throne in your life? For me, it slipped away so easily, that place that I had control, and now I was out of control. And you know what it is to be out of control? You might call it today addiction. And whatever it is that's controlling your life, you have to say, you might think that it's that thing, but actually, if it's not God, it's Satan. Maybe we look for something to come in to press the evil out. The people got tired of my moving from one mood swing to the other until that mood swing became anger and rage, and I began to lash out against others and move toward them and went to attack them, and pretty soon they bound me in chains and dragged me off to the tombs to restrict me from and keep safe the rest of the people. But demons won't be held. And I realized that there were more and more of the demons and less of me. My thoughts, the things that came up, were things I would normally never think of or even imagine myself doing. I became a terror to the town. They were afraid to walk by. They would walk in groups to try to protect themselves, and still I would terrorize the town. It wasn't just me. There were others who were demonized. But I have to tell you, that doesn't give you any comfort. Sometimes we look around and say, there's others just as bad as I am. But what does that do for you inside? Does it give you hope? And you see, with all of this, with all of the things I lost love. I lost a heart that had joy. And I lost hope. Until a new whisper came through the town of the Gerasenes. Jesus, the healer's coming. Jesus. And at his name, the demons inside trembled and shrieked. And I could feel the repulsion at the name. And I knew that that meant there was a grain of hope. For they were afraid of him. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I needed that greater power to come in and drive out. You see, we try to sometimes take care of Satan by driving him out ourselves. Really, we need God to come in to push Satan out by his presence in our life. Would you say amen? So I waited and I looked. So little of me left and so much of them. And that scene I told you about, the one we started with, was the next thing that came when I'd heard that Jesus was coming. And he began walking up with the disciples. And I really wanted to run. I wanted to run because I didn't want him to see what I had become. Have you tried to hide your sin? From your family? From those in your church? From the world? Only to find that no matter how hard you press it down, there's still that eruption inside that's pulling you away from him. The demons lunged toward him as if they were going to tear him apart. And he came, and the disciples did the rightful thing, like you felt when I came out. They turned around and they ran for the boats. They got all the way there, started pushing the boats out, and realized, oh, we left Jesus. And they turned around, and you see, he stood there. And all the while before this, everybody who saw me only saw the demons that were in me. Just as Jesus had brought peace in a storm, there was a storm raging inside of me. And he lifted his hands, and the demons fell before him. I wanted to cry out. I wanted to let him know that I was there, but it was as if he already knew. He could see past the demons, and he said, "What is your name?" And they said, I wanted to say, "I'm Adelphus," but my voice wouldn't work. Not for me. It only worked for them. And they said, "We are legion, for we are many." And I already knew there were many voices, many demons driving me. They said, "Jesus, please don't torture us before the time, but send us." And suddenly, as you look on the mountainside, you could see the herd of swine. Oh, I know. Not a good Jewish thing. Not a good Adventist thing, for that matter. And you know what he did? He sent the unclean spirits into the unclean swine. Now, because of the demons inside, I could understand what Satan was wanting to do. He was wanting that cash crop to go and destroy itself over the side of the cliff, which is exactly what happened, so that everyone would reject Jesus. Because you know what happens when somebody touches your money. Instead, Jesus took the very thing that they thought was the thing that would cause the final rejection and used it as a stamp so that whenever the gospel would be told, that story of the pigs would be a witness, because the whole city had seen those 2,000 swine go over the side. Pigs do fly. When you look at the picture and wonder, when will it take place that God will be in his role, then this is the time. God stood and did the amazing thing. You may think the big amazing thing was getting rid of those demons and putting them in the swine, but the amazing thing was me getting back my life, me being forgiven. Almost instantly, sanity returned to me. My eyes cleared. I could see before me the hope that was there. And there was Jesus. And all I wanted to do was be with Jesus. You may think that it's just a story from long ago. Oh, but it's much more than that. It is a symbol of the gospel. You want to know what life is like under Satan? And you want to know what happens when you turn and give your life to Jesus? When Jesus comes inside, the demons have to leave. How did he clear the temple? Jesus came in and drove everything else out. Don't wait to clean yourself up. Call Jesus in and let him do what you can't do yourself. Are you right now in that storm? Is there a storm raging inside of you? Do you have so many things that are addicted to you that you're holding that are as if the demons had control by the names? And maybe their names are cocaine, or maybe their names are pornography, or maybe their names is stealing or greed or any of 100 things that are controlling your life instead of God. Don't wait to clean yourself up. Fall before him. Ask him to come in. The gospel message is Jesus gives a new life. So I said, "Please, Lord, let me go with you." But he said, "No. Stay and share the gospel with those who love you." I stayed and shared it with the Gerasenes, the very ones who had rejected Jesus, who sent him away because of that pig crop going over. And when Jesus returned, the nations turned back to him. The testimony of one who truly has God in their life is miraculous. If you haven't yet today, if you haven't yet in your life, ask God to come in and take control and take care of the things that you no longer can take care of or deal with. I would invite you to pray with me. Let's bow our heads. Mighty God, some for the very first time want to open their hearts to you and say, Lord, as the great healer, as the King and the Messiah, we just ask that you would take control of our lives and come inside and drive out all those things that are beyond us. And others are making that choice again, as we need to every day, and saying, Lord, I need to be crucified every day, less of me and more of you. We're either totally demon-controlled or we're God-controlled. Although it doesn't always show on the outside, there's only one of two masters. Today, Lord, we choose you. Amen.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to stand up here. Not knowing who all is here tonight, I'm Charlie McKelvey. I'm one of the many who are working on our Life Hope Center the next 2 days. And I just want to give everybody who's here for that, and those of you who want to learn a little bit more about Life Hope, just give an introduction for a bit. As I've said in the past, I think this is a great outreach we have for the community. Not only it brings us together as a church, but it brings a community to our church. And I think that has some real benefits for them. It has some great benefits for us as well. And I'm just talking about the volunteers. And then we have the people who are going to come to be served by us, okay? Now, obviously, many of you know I'm in the dental department, and that takes a lot of work to put together. You can probably guess that. We have 16 chairs that we're going to be seeing patients in. But those of you who are doing finger sticks or taking blood pressure or just moving people around the campus to get them in the right place, you're just as important as those of us who may have a license to do something a little bit more than you do. And if we were in another country, Kevin Carpenter is a great example. I would teach you how to pull teeth. Kevin is amazing at pulling teeth from 15 years ago. So join me sometime in another country, and I'd be glad to teach you how to do what we do here. Anyway, I just want to remind everybody here that every one of you that are helping are so valuable to make this experience and the time that our neighbors are visiting us on our church campus. And I don't think you need to be reminded of that, but it doesn't always go perfectly well. Sometimes there's misunderstandings. Sometimes people may not get perhaps what they expect to get. And we just need to work through that and get them as comfortable as they can. And certainly if there's any problems or hiccups along the way, we have several of us that are here to deal with that. And we may find some people that come in for a toothache, for instance. This happened last year. You may know there were 2 different ambulances that came by to take people to the hospital, okay? So what they came for was not as important as what they needed, okay? So the main thing I want everybody to do the next 2 days is to listen what they have to tell you, and then to help them as much as you can. And if you're not able to maybe meet some of their needs, then find someone who can, okay? So we're all in this together, and some of you may be in a situation that's not as comfortable as you wish, then share it with someone else, okay? And just, you know. Now, some of you tonight may not have signed up yet. We have room for you. We really do. So there's lots of things that all of us can do together. And I think this is our 5th year doing this, and I look forward to it every year. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make this happen. I'm looking at Jim Grossman over there. We could not put this on without Jim, and others that work with him, of course. And helped in the community that you're not even aware of too. Okay, so we're going to move on here, but I do want to quote one thing. And this is from he's passed away, but he's a retired pastor. His name is Mr. Rogers. He says, "We live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, it's not my community, it's not my world, it's not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider those people my heroes." All of you people are my heroes because you see the need and you're responding. So thank you so much for really joining our church community here to meet the needs of our community. Thanks. Oh, there you are.
All right, I'm just going to stand down here. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Gerhardt, and I am the volunteer coordinator for Life Hope. So thank you for all of those who have already volunteered and signed waivers and all those good things. If you haven't, this is a great opportunity to do it. I will be outside in the lobby after we do the individual orientations. A couple of really important things for registration. Every volunteer is required to sign a waiver to be on campus. So if you haven't done it yet tonight, we can do it tonight. If you are running out of time and need to get home, I will be here very early in the morning, and you can find me along with the rest of the volunteer registration staff over at the white tents, and we'll be outside the fireside room to the left. So I'll be there very early. I think I'll be here by 5:30 or 6 in the morning. So please come fill out your waiver. Even if you fill out a waiver, I still need you to come see me both Saturday and Sunday morning to check in. It just lets us know who's on campus, make sure that we have the right volunteers where they're supposed to be. And then if we have too many volunteers, we can move people around to areas of need. So really important that you check in every morning. You don't have to check out, but I just need you to check in. So I would recommend being here at least 15 to 20 minutes before your shift time, and shift times are all different. Some start at 7, some are 7:15, some are 7:30, some are 8. But if you can check in about 15 minutes before, we'll get you through the line quickly and get you on to where you need to go. Our volunteer registration area is also kind of an information area for you as a volunteer. So if you have questions or you're not sure what to do, come see me and come see the other volunteer registration staff. A couple other things. We are going to be calling up all the leads for each area here in just a minute. And so actually, if you're a lead, if you want to start making your way up here, that would be great. And we're going to do a quick little intro for all of those people to get us out to our different areas. While they're coming up, as an incentive for you to do your waiver, we have these really beautiful new blue t-shirts. So if you haven't seen them yet, Kristen Lowe did a great job of picking out a new color and design and all of that, so they look really great. Oh, and we have some models right here. Look at this. So after you sign your waiver, I will happily give you a t-shirt. That's yours to have as a thank you and appreciation for being here, and so that we can all be recognized the next couple days. So with that, I will pass on. You want to start? So. Yes, I can. So staff break area. So we're moving a couple things around. If you've seen the maps, that's great. If not, we have them at registration, and I have some here tonight as well. But we've moved a few things for flow around. The biggest change is going to be that the food area is no longer inside the fireside room. So we're putting guests and patients in that area, and so everything now is behind the first and second classroom. So when you need a break, when you need food, you'll need to go over to the behind the first and second classroom this year. Okay. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to ask all of our leads to do is introduce yourself, what you're in charge of, and then where you will be meeting your volunteers following this meeting.
Do I have a choice in terms of where to meet? Because I understand others have already selected their places where they're going to meet.
You do have a choice, so not in the lobby right here, and not at the piano. I think those are the two that have been taken. Everywhere else is open.
Okay. Arnold Trujillo, I'm in charge of interpreting or translating. I do have a question. Do you have a team that is going to be doing the greeting? The people come before 7, they line up here. Is there going to be anybody who's going to be greeting them?
I believe we have with guest registration, so yes.
Okay. I'd like to meet my group, just a small group, over in that corner.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Okay, next.
I'm Dr. Kamazi, and Dr. Mawson and I will be working with those patients that have cardiology and internal medicine needs, hypertension especially, rhythm disturbances, chest pain, and Clyde Reiswig, I think he'll be helping us with the EKGs, and anybody else that is in that group that I don't know of yet. We'll be meeting in that far classroom, back wall, far classroom in this building here, so the back and that direction. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm Stephanie Whitcomb, and I'm in charge of patient flow. We've got an awesome job because we get to walk everyone to the services they're looking forward to. And I will meet you in the lobby by the credenza. There we go. All right.
I'm Jesse Carter. I'm security, head of security tomorrow. If anyone here is helping, I'll meet in front of the fireside room. All right? Thanks.
I'm Larry Brunell, retired physician, and worked in wound care, so I'm in charge of foot care again, which I love doing. So anybody that is going to be in part of our team, why don't we meet in the back corner over here by the PA group there, okay?
Okay, Sylvia Elias doing physical therapy, and I don't see my people here, but whoever's here, I'll be right up here.
Mario DeLise, overseeing the chaplains, and we'll just meet right in the middle here on my left, your right.
You've heard from me. I'm Charlie McKelvey. Larry does foot care. I do mouth care. And if anybody's in dental, we'll be meeting over in the clinic.
Good evening. I'm John Bishke, the lead for guest registration, and we will meet in the breezeway.
I'm Pastor Jim, and I'm in charge of the platform and education.
My name is Lori, and I'm part of the medical lead team. So we have 3 different areas, actually. So we have blood glucose. They will be meeting right here, who's doing finger stick in the morning and in the afternoon in the breezeway, and they're going to meet with Donna Caldwell. And I'll be taking the people who are doing lifestyle counseling, height and weight. Connie's going to help me with the HDL, LDL, finger stick as well in the gymnasium. All right, if you're doing lifestyle counseling, computer health gauge, and height and weight, and the HDL, LDL finger stick, please meet up in the gymnasium. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Featherstone, and I'll be leading the parking team, but we're actually greeters as well, because sometimes we're the first face that people stop and talk to as they're on their way in, trying to figure out where they're going to be. And I want to ask all of you who are volunteering tomorrow to park over as close to the plant services buildings in the, it's not grassy area, it's the bare field out there, as close to the plant services, so that we have as many of the paved areas close to the building here available to our guests in the morning. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laquita Talento, and I am in charge of making sure any children that volunteers need to bring with them are not bored and running around crazy. So if you, I don't know, I think there's only a couple of you that we've talked to about volunteering, so I will see you in the kindergarten classroom, which is right across the street tomorrow.
Thanks, Laquita. I'm Pastor Tyson. I'm in charge of all of the youth volunteers. If we have any youth here tonight and you have already signed up to work in a specific area, I would encourage you to go to the area to get orientated by those leaders. So if you're helping with dental, please go see Dr. McKelvey. If you're helping with traffic and parking, please go with John. However, if you are a youth and you either don't remember where you signed up or you have not yet signed up, come see me. I will be, where should I hide? No, I think there's already somebody up. I'm going to be right over here by the front office, by the door here, by the copy machine in the office, all right? So any youth that are here that don't remember where they're going or haven't yet signed up, I'll help you get to there, and we'll talk about where you're going to be. I'll be in the church office.
This is me, Pastor Jonathan Derma, and I am in charge of checkout. So I'm the last station for the patients. And those who are volunteering, please, let's meet in the back here, outside in front of the gym.
I am, excuse me, I am not Virginia Sands, but she went home after cooking on her feet for 12 hours today, so she's resting, and I did help her with organization today, so I'll meet with the food people right here in these empty pews.
Okay, well, I think that will wrap everything up. I'd like to recognize real quick Kristen Lowe as the program director this year. It takes a lot of hands, obviously. I mean, everyone up here has done a ton of work on this side, but it takes one person to lead us all, and so thanks to Kristen for doing that this year. With that, we'll close it out, and you can go to meet your leaders wherever they are, and we'll see everyone else bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good evening.